Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah. I don't know what I could say to convince you to.
Today is October 16th, 2020, Friday of the 28th week in Ordinary Time, and you are tuned into Deacons, Discussions, and Drinks.
But still you got me missing you. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah. God, I'm sick of this waiting. You got me going crazy tonight. So why?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Deacons, Discussions, and Drinks. I am Deacon Tim Stout.
I am Deacon Dallas Kelly.
That's not Father Lynn. Father Lynn is not here tonight.
He's playing hooky.
He's gone. I'm hearing crickets all over the place. Where they come from? We are live back in the studio tonight. Father Lynn's off. I think he's on vacation. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, that's his 12th one this year.
His 12th vacation. He's probably somewhere in the Lone Star State with his family down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We've got no guest in here, just two deacons and a cameraman. And what we're going to do tonight, we're just going to talk. And we're going to open the phone lines up, so if you want to call in, you can call in. If you want to, comment on Facebook, because Dallas is a professional at that, feel free to do that. And we'll take your questions and your comments. We're going to talk about some things, some things going on. But the number, there is a new number. Long story. We're not going to get into it tonight, but this is a little bit easier. 234-DEACONS, 234-332-2667. That's the number. You can call and you can talk to us live. It's always good when we have a live caller because it's a conversation at that point, kind of a discussion on steroids, if you will. But put your comments, questions in Facebook, and we'll see what kind of stuff we get to talk about tonight. So let's just jump into some current events. You want to go first, Dallas, or you want me to? Because I got a couple things.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, I was just reading where a judge rules against reinstating a Catholic student to the government office over fears of creating chaos. I think it was in Tallahassee, Florida. A U.S. district judge ruled that reinstating a Catholic student expelled from office because of his privately shared religious belief would be chaos. Even though he ruled in the student's favor, he did not still reinstate him. I don't know if anybody's heard about that, but he posted some stuff on Facebook that had to do with his Catholic belief, and the rest of the student body got him expelled from the student senate. That's been a while back. It's been a few months back.
It's tough to be a Catholic today.
Yes. I mean, they're basically, you can be Catholic, just don't say anything about it.
Let's see, I just got a text from my wife. It says the show is not on. Are you watching on me or are you watching on St. Francis and John? Well, Kelly, you need to go to St. Francis and John. It looks good on my part. So, hey, if you're out there and you're watching, let us know. So, I've got some news, breaking news that will affect us. Next week, we will not have our show on Friday night. We will have our show on Saturday night. We will be at Cardome. We will not be in the studio. We're actually going to be out front of Cardome where we usually have Mass. And it's time for the drawing for the capital prize. So you'll see some communication this week about the event. We're going to be doing the drawing live here at Cardome. We'll do it live during our show. There's going to be an opportunity to come out and, kind of like a tailgate area with social distancing. If you're interested in that, you can come out and take a look at that. And
listen to some music
But
if everybody is here, who's watching us?
That's a great question. Is your volume up on there? Well, the good thing about this change in schedule for us is that there's another change in schedule, and that's the University of Kentucky football. Originally scheduled to host Georgia next weekend at Kroger Field, they won't be at Kroger Field next week because of COVID. They will actually be in Columbia, Missouri to play the Tigers, so there was not a conflicting football game. So more people can tune in to watch the show and come out to Cardome, maybe have some food, maybe have a drink, listen to some music. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. It is getting cold this weekend. But Kentucky will be at Missouri on the 24th and now play Georgia on the 31st. So that will affect us. We hope you can come out next weekend and check out, buy some tickets on the Capital Prize if you haven't already bought them. You can turn your tickets in now. I think they're due to be turned in now. If you haven't turned them in, you've got a little bit more time. So let's do that. And then we'll have a good time out here. We'll have some music, have some food, some drinks, and have a topic. We'll have to think of a good topic for next week. Got any ideas, Dallas?
Not yet. We got a while. We'll think of something.
So your current event, we were just talking about Catholics in the public view. Obviously, Amy Coney Barrett was in the public view this week. I watched some of the hearings. Did you watch any of the hearings?
I watched quite a bit of it.
I thought she did a very good job of handling what I thought were a lot of different types of questions. I'll be politically correct there. Obviously, she's a very intelligent woman. She's a different type of person, I think, than they're used to seeing up there. Big family, diverse family, right? Got 2 black children and 1 special needs adopted. 7 kids total.
7 total.
I can't imagine that. That's a lot. That's a lot of kids. Three's a lot. 4's a whole lot. 5, 6, and 7. Wow. I did see a video before her hearings where they had the film crew out in front of her house. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that.
So they get her coming out of the house. She's actually going. It was the day she was going to the White House to meet with President Trump, where he was going to introduce her as the nominee. And her husband and her kids, they walk out. They walk down the front steps. They walk across the sidewalk and they get into, it would look like a Honda or a Toyota minivan, and they all climb into the minivan, and she gets into the driver's seat and she takes off. I mean, it's just kind of, it's suburbia, right?
Yeah.
It puts the focus back on how important the family is, and at least in my view. I mean, I know I'm biased, but we're all biased, right?
I mean, they asked her everywhere from abortion issues to in vitro fertilization to do you hate puppies? And they did ask her that. Now, the gentleman was kidding, but...
Well, she even got some controversial questions. One of them was, who does the laundry in your house? Did you see that one? Saw that one. Have you ever sexually assaulted anyone? Did you see that one?
Did not see that one.
Yeah. And then,
but the gentleman who asked her the laundry question, didn't he take some flack?
Oh, yeah, he took a lot of flack.
You know, like presuming it would be a woman doing the laundry.
Yeah, it was sexist. So, you know, the lady that asked if she had ever sexually assaulted anyone, the lady, the gentle lady from, I believe it was Hawaii, she says she asked that of all of the nominees now because of Brett Kavanaugh. So I thought it was good hearings. Obviously, the vote's next week. I think the votes are there. So there will be lots of protesting, I'm sure. I don't know if that's good or bad as we get towards the election. I don't think we need any more protesting. But kind of gives me a little segue into this poll. Okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
So as we were getting ready to go on air, we found EWTN did their research poll number 3. If you want to, you can Google that and look it up. They surveyed about 1,200 Catholics on what's your biggest concerns going into the election. The top 5 were economy and jobs is number 1, healthcare number 2, coronavirus number 3, national security number 4, and civil unrest number 5. I don't think any of that's surprising. No. But then they get into some more detailed questions, which, you know, these are concerning anti-Catholic violence. Are you concerned about vandalism and attacks on churches? 83% said yes.
Which has increased greatly over the past few months.
Attack on statues of Catholic heroes. 74% said yes. Burning of Bibles in Portland, Oregon. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one either.
74% said yes, they're concerned about that. And then calls to tear down statues and artwork depicting Jesus as a white European. 74% yes, which I would think would be every Catholic church. Well, let me say not every. 90% of Catholic churches in the U.S. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
So 20% of people not concerned with that. Do you support defunding the police? I was shocked by this one. 33% of Catholics do not support defending the police. Defunding the police, sorry. 59% do support defunding the police. That surprises me. 8% didn't have enough information. And then 83% of the people trust their police, their local police, which is, I would say that's probably, unless you live in a big city.
The other 17% were arrested already, so so they don't trust the police.
They said we don't trust the police, not much, not at all. That's a big number. COVID question, and again, this is a poll taken by EWTN of Catholics. Was it distressing to be unable to attend Mass during the pandemic? 71% said yes, it was distressing. 29% said it was not distressing.
That's a little discouraging. Not that I want 100% to be distressed.
Well, it didn't say whether they were practicing Catholics or whether they were just Catholics. So, you know, the pandemic, 57% of the majority of the respondents gave President Trump poor marks for his handling of the pandemic. You know, 79% said the pandemic made them feel closer to God. And 93% said it made them feel closer to their families. which I think we all agree with that, right? I mean,
Yeah, I've eaten more dinners at the dinner table than ever before.
even if it's carryout.
Yeah, even if DoorDash is bringing it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing. We've talked about that through a couple shows, because obviously this is a pandemic show, right? We started this at the beginning of the pandemic, and we're on show 26. So it's been up. I think we missed maybe 4 weekends maybe. So we're probably 29, 30 weeks into the pandemic. And we've talked about it a few times that, yeah, the family has become a lot more important. You've got a lot more people focused in on their families. And one of the other places, and I'll get back to some of the other stuff in this poll here in a second, but one of the other things that I've seen lately is and you might have seen it too, is the TV ratings for sports when they came back online. Have you seen that?
We've discussed that. I've seen the NBA ratings.
Well, it's not just the NBA. Yeah. It's everything.
Yeah.
College football's down 30-something percent.
Wow.
Major League Baseball's down 40%. There's just the Kentucky
NBA
Derby
was down 70%.
Yeah. Well, and the Kentucky Derby was down almost 70% or something like that, but it was in September, not in May. So, and I was reading some of the comments associated with that, and the one thing that kind of stuck out in my mind is one of the guys said, "Hey, we figured out that sports aren't that important." And there's probably a lot of truth to that.
Some salaries may be needing adjusting coming up, because, they charge the commercials about what the ratings are. Commercials, prices go down, your salary eventually is going to trickle down if it continues.
No, it's part of the collective bargaining agreements on most of the major leagues that their salaries are tied to ratings. And it will take a couple years, but it will cycle down, and then there's going to be a whole lot of upset professional football players and basketball players and baseball players.
Instead of some of them making $40 million a year, they'll have to drop to $20 million.
It's tough, but I think the family part of this pandemic is something I think we should try to build on. Obviously, we see it. I think at Mass, you see families sitting together. You can see them in their little pods, right, sitting together in their groups. Spend a lot more time together. I spent a lot more time together with my wife than I have in previous, because she was at home with the pandemic, being a school teacher. What about your wife? Do you spend more time with your wife, just around the dinner table?
Absolutely.
So, and I think it's been positive, and I think most families would agree. I would hope. There obviously is a lot more stress involved with the pandemic, but I think in general, I think that's still positive. I was just going to sit there.
Was you going to play cricket again?
I was just going to sit there for a minute and see if you were going to say anything. Just some other notes on the Catholics who attend Mass daily support Trump by 16 percentage points higher than Catholics who attend Mass more than once a week. So 58 to 42%. 61 to 37% support Trump by 24 points that attend Mass weekly. More than once a week. So, by contrast, Catholics who attend Mass less than once a year support Biden by a margin of 59 to 36. And those who never attend Mass support Biden by a margin of 69 to 25. What do you attribute that to?
I don't know.
I mean, that's not a rounding error. Those are big differences. That's interesting. Those who set a time to pray each day break narrowly for Trump, 48 to 47. Obviously, that's close. That's not a big difference. And those who do not set time each day overwhelmingly support Biden, 55 to 37. Hispanics who identify as Catholics overall support Biden by a margin of 63 to 31. And among those who go to Mass at least weekly, more than 4 in 10 support Trump, 43. And while Biden gets 54% of it. Interesting there. Hey, we got a caller. It's that somebody's calling in, and they're on the screening line. So once they get screened, we'll be able to bring them in. This will be interesting.
We have a screener?
Yeah, it asked them their name and some other things. And
well, somebody asked online during the pandemic. Well, during the pandemic, ? Do they mean self-isolation? Yeah, ? I'm
Yeah.
not sure what's being asked.
About how they feel about the poll, if she's
Oh.
asking about the poll. I mean, I'm sure that that's part of how they answered their perspective on the poll, yeah. So Lynn Wood. Do you know Lynn Wood? Lynn Wood. That's what it says, Lynn Wood. Lynn Wood, welcome to the show.
Good to be on the show.
Wait a
How
minute.
the hell y'all doing?
Let me give a Deacon John. Oh,
Lynn Wynn. See
The guy.
I got it now. Lynn Wood is Lynn Wynn. Welcome to the show, Father Lynn. How are you?
Super.
Yeah, I thought I recognized that phone number.
are you doing some cooking right about now?
Yep, done all the cooking and prepare for the family, brother, sister to show up. And we have a powwow.
What's for dinner?
And last night we combination of fish head and
Don't
pig
don't say
gizzard.
dog. Don't say dog.
No dog, unfortunately. So I heard the last comment in regard to pandemic. Down in Texas is quite interesting. The people protest, even the governor, because he was earlier. He wanted to kind of see my lockdown the state, and people protesting him. That took him to court.
Yeah, that's happening up in New York too. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, where the Archbishop Cardinal Dolan is going to challenge the governor in court over they're trying to shut down the schools. I think it has to do with. So it's interesting how it's going to play out. All these shutdowns nowadays will play out versus the first time around. Everybody just kind of took it, right?
But now it's much more aggressive. And then on top of that, the rally of Biden and Trump and kind of crazy.
So Texas has historically been a very red state, but I guess in the urban areas
it's
now,
very red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very red. And they have a mind to themselves. I think it's very different than where we are, Kentuckian. They very rebel rouser. Was everybody, all my family, they all have guns. Even my sister-in-law, she probably 4'8", and carry.
Yeah, that wasn't her age. That was her height, right?
It's called
That's her height.
it's called the Second Amendment.
And Texas knows a lot about the Second
And
Amendment for sure.
And Deacon Tim, you know Theodore, right? You remember Theodore?
I do.
My nephew, yeah. He's a manager of the gun range.
Really? So the family gets
Yeah.
discounts. They can go get range time anytime they want.
Oh, again, range. I mean, they want. So I think tomorrow, we're going shooting.
There you go.
And then by evening, we will have mass celebrate for anniversary of my sister-in-law grandmother who passed away about 14 years ago. So religion and gun kind of go hand in hand, apparently. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
So what is the topic for the conversation? What they heated for tonight?
A little bit of everything.
We were just talking about an EWTN Catholic poll, which was taken before the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, just about how Catholics feel about the current state of affairs and the politics. And one of the things I thought was interesting was that Catholics that go to Mass or pray more than once a week overwhelmingly support Trump versus Biden. I thought that was interesting. What do you attribute that to, Father?
So right now, there's a lot of voices of priests. I think the latest one I heard is from Maryland, I believe, televised via Night Columbus website, apparently. So preach very aggressively. So it can be interesting.
Yeah, the Knights of Columbus, they feel the Knights of Columbus feel threatened as an organization right now, just because of the attacks on Christopher Columbus. They've been doing a lot, putting out a lot of stuff on Columbus, the true story of Columbus. Very.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, very aggressive on that stuff. And at the same time, we've got the canonization of Father Michael McGivney coming up.
I know.
So it's an interesting time for the Knights of Columbus, and I think they're worried about, how that will be portrayed in the public realm for sure. So,
but interesting for the Catholic as well, for Catholic as a church in the United States, the declension within the episcopacy offices, and see how they're going to play out this upcoming meeting. So
that's in November. Is that right? Or is it in October?
Yes, in November.
November.
Third week of November. So we'll see what's going to play out.
There are some there are battles going on in the church for sure.
Yes, there's a lot going on in the church.
Are you going to be with us very long on the phone, or you going to have to go?
Well, I gotta go, so just call and say hi to everybody. Hope you all doing well.
I was gonna have you answer a couple of questions coming in.
Oh, we got a couple questions. Can you answer a couple questions? Help us answer a couple questions.
Well, I'm sure Deacon Dallas can handle it.
Well, okay. Well, if you get any calls or the bishop calls Dallas in, just know that Dallas is doing all the word and communions while you're out. So if something happens, you're in trouble.
So I'm right now planting Guadalupe Mass. I think the bishop is accepting go use Cardome for December the 12th. So I'm working on that right now with Deacon Fortini and perhaps even Miss Karen Rood as well. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we do have a little bit of a problem.
Snow?
Yeah, it might snow.
I told you, I predict it'll be the first day of the snow.
I think they're calling for snow on December 12th. Or is it the 8th?
It's going to be on December 12th. Perfect for Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yeah, we did have a question.
Happened with the snow.
We had a question from a viewer before the show started.
And it's on here, Facebook right now, too.
Wants to know what's the plans for cold weather.
The plan for cold weather is to put on hat, mittens, gloves, and thick coat and boots.
And bring 55-gallon barrels and with wood and
if you have any extra 55-gallon barrels, rust is okay on the sides. Coat open tops. We'll place those out on the lawn, and we can fill them up with and start little fires to keep people warm.
Well, Grand Knight Emeritus Jeff Crum, he offered barrel for us if we need it.
There you go.
We'll have about 15 barrels out on the lawn.
We got plenty of wood we got plenty of wood at Cardome to have some fire.
There is. That's true. lots of down tree limbs and stuff. So, and the follow-on question to that was, and I don't think there's really any update on this, but any plans to go back out to St. Francis?
Any plan to go back to St. Francis?
Yeah, with
that conversation need to reserve after the COVID issues is done.
So after a vaccine of some sort, then, right?
Yeah, after we back into some sense of normality. Even think Father Mark out there, actually, he's doing mass outdoor.
Okay.
He even offered me, he have a lot of thick vestments. The stuff that people in Poland during the Cold War and that they use for the winter. So he has some stuff. He even offered that for us to use.
Well, I know Sunday morning or tomorrow morning it's supposed to be 40 degrees in the morning. I know Dallas is going hunting tomorrow, but
yes.
Has anybody looked at Sunday morning? What the temperature's going to be? I think it's going to be cold. So
Yeah, going to be in low 50 or high 40s.
did you advise the substitute priest to dress warmly?
Not yet, but I'm about to text him and Deacon Dallas and Lisette so he knows.
Okay. All right. We don't want any.
Somebody is asking who is the priest this weekend.
Should we announce it or should we let it be a secret?
I think we should let it. We can announce it. He's one of our own.
Who is the priest this weekend, and how many fire pits will be? Somebody's asking that. The priest is Father A-Rock.
A-Rock, Missa. And
Aroki that Same.
that what he said. But he's not preaching though. Who's preaching?
Deacon Dallas.
Deacon Dallas.
Great Deacon Dallas.
And the colder it is, the shorter the homilies get.
Because
priest with great fire, then we keep everybody warm.
well, you told us not to talk about politics. So.
No, he said don't preach about anything controversial, anything.
Yeah, preach with fire, not with condemnation.
All right.
So, well, anywho, thanks, guys. Enjoy yourself.
Hey,
Many
thanks,
blessings to everybody.
thanks, Father, for calling in. We appreciate it. Have a great time with your family and safe journey back.
Well, we'll do. Thanks,
All right.
brothers.
Take care.
Godspeed.
Peace.
Well, so he did make it. He did better than I did last week.
Wonder how he got the number.
He texted me and asked for it.
Did he really?
Yes, he
Okay.
did.
Well, you can give a guy a heads up next time. I was looking at that number and I'm like, I think I recognize that number. But nowadays we don't memorize numbers,
Yeah.
right? We just store them. So
Names on the phone, you know.
So you got some other questions there, Dallas?
Somebody asked, yes, I got to get my glasses back out. Okay. I see the deacons as they pour water into the chalice, mumbling something. What is it? We're saying a prayer.
Through the mystery of this water and wine.
Are you gonna? You want me?
I want you to. I was good. We were going to share it.
Through the mystery of this water and wine. It's a prayer that they say. May we come to share.
In the divinity of Christ,
Who humbled himself.
to share in our
Humanity.
So
The prayer of the deacons. Well, the priest says it too if there is no deacon.
right. Yeah. So it's interesting in the missal, the Roman missal, which if you're watching Mass at Cardome, it's the book that's sitting on the altar that we set up before Mass. Typically, it's the book that's held by the server if we were in church and also placed on the altar. That's called the Roman Missal. And it has the right in it and all the prayers.
Everything we say in a Mass is in that book.
Is in that book. And then some things are prayed silently and some things are not. And it tells you what to do.
Yeah. Do the red. There's another thing. Well, when you hear the term rubrics means red. Do the red, say the black.
Yeah, there's a prayer that Father says that most priests say to themselves, but before communion. Have you noticed them saying it out loud?
Yeah.
May the body and blood of Christ
Bring us to
lasting
everlasting
life. Yeah, that one's typically said quietly. Obviously, at the presider is the decider. So
I think it even says, say quietly.
yeah. So he's not the first priest that I've been at a Mass with that's done that. So good question. I didn't know anybody noticed.
You ready for another one?
Sure.
I hear the term Orthodox Catholic, and it made me think back, if you remember when Judge Coney was, when she was in circuit court being asked, they asked her about being an Orthodox Catholic. Now, she kind of, I don't know, do you remember that particular
I do
question?
not.
That was way back a couple of years ago in 2017. I think it was 2017. She kind of hem-hawed around and didn't answer, but she's got to do what she's got to do. I realize that. But the question is, I hear the term Orthodox Catholic. What is that compared to the Orthodox religion? I don't understand. You take it?
Well, I got an opinion. I
Okay.
I don't necessarily think it's not like my opinion, it's not like the Orthodox Church.
Right. It's not.
To me, it describes, when I hear that, I think of the way someone practices their faith and that they attend Mass every Sunday and maybe more than that.
And believe everything the church teaches. That's the way I take it. Yeah. To me, an Orthodox Catholic is, I believe everything the church teaches. And then you have the Orthodox religion is just totally separate. It was a separation between the Catholic Church and this church in 1054, who they are not in communion with the Catholic Church, and they came up with their name, Orthodox.
Yeah, because they didn't accept some of the changes that the church was going through at the time. So, I think that's where it comes from. The word Orthodox means that it's old school. What'd you say? Is that a good way to say it? Maybe
say it again. I was reading
old school Catholic.
Yeah,
because it is. We talk about this a lot about everybody believing and professing what the Catholic Church teaches. It's hard. I mean, the Catholic Church is broad, wide, and it's, without getting into the political side of it, just on the faith side of it, I don't think a lot of us know our faith well enough to say that with 100% conviction. Would you agree?
That they're an Orthodox Catholic?
Well, that they believe and profess everything that the Catholic Church teaches.
I would say, yeah, they do not, even though we say the creed every week, and we are admitting we do. I believe in the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church.
Yeah, but I think it's for most of us, it's a journey. Right? I mean, that's what sin is, right? Sin is turning away from God, turning away from something that's taught in our faith, as a practice of our faith. We gotta find the way back. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree.
Okay. Got another question?
No.
How about a call?
Anybody got a call?
No, we don't have a call. 234-332-2667. 234 Deacons. We do have 7 lines open. So if you wanted to call in and talk, or if you just wanted to ask a question similar to that, something about Mass, something that you see at Cardome. Obviously, being at Cardome gives a different perspective on Mass, and especially if you're watching at home. Thanks to our excellent cameraman, Steve, we get to see things up close, different perspective than you would if you were sitting in a pew at church. So
we never did answer how many fire pits will we be building. I guess we got to have a meeting on that.
We have a meeting about everything
else. It might be bring your own fire pit, wood, and no s'mores during Mass.
I'm okay with the cold weather. I'm not okay with the cold and wet weather. That's kind of where it gets a little challenging.
I remember me and Father Lynn was reminiscing about this about a week ago. Many years ago, when we used to have weekday Masses down at St. Francis, I think on Monday and Friday. And when we'd show up, nobody's been there all week. So, if it's 5 degrees outside, we used to keep the heat off. And when Mass started, I went to pour water from the pitcher into his hands, and it was a block of ice. He just laughed and said, I'll pretend.
What are the words that the priest says when he pours?
He mumbles it. I don't know that one. Do you know that one?
I do know that one. Lord, wash away my iniquities and cleanse me from my sins. You know how I know that one? Because I served for the same priest every Sunday for like 6 straight years in my home parish in Louisville, Father Charles McCauley. And he said that to me basically as I was pouring water over his hands all the time. So I just memorized it.
Do you know all the Latin responses that a server used to have to do?
I know. No. So I was post-Latin.
Yes.
So I never got a Latin Mass.
You ever been to a Latin Mass?
Never been to a Latin Mass.
I was probably carried into a Latin Mass, but I don't remember being at a Latin Mass. Never, not one time.
That's just not something I'm interested in doing. Just there's nothing about that intrigues me at all.
I mean,
Maybe
think
that makes me
the
unorthodox.
server. You think the server's got to do a lot now? He's got to. In the Latin Mass, I think the server responds. You know, he's the respondent. You know,
I didn't know that. So I've been to
at
an
least
Orthodox
everything I've
Mass.
seen on TV. You know,
I've been to an Orthodox Mass. I've been to a Mass in Hawaii in a church, but it was all open door, like lots of doors. Very much a cultural event. So I've been to a lot of different types of masses in different countries and stuff, but never to a Latin Mass. So what are some other of those prayers that they say during Mass that are silent?
well, there's one said after communion. The priest comes up and says, "I don't know that one either." Remember, Father Bob asked us.
Yeah, we had to leave the missal open so he could say that prayer. There's a silent prayer we're supposed to say before we proclaim the gospel. What's that one?
Before or it's after? Cleanse us.
I thought that was the one's on the ambo.
Yeah, that's after, I believe. Wasn't it?
Oh, I thought it was before.
Well, as long as we say it.
We need some practice. Interesting.
Yeah, we have a little strip that has that prayer on the ambo that most people can't see.
Yeah, we call those liturgical aids. They let us do what we need to do when we need to do it. So, yeah, the priest obviously has the hard part. That's why he's got all those instructions in front of him. Most of what the deacon says we've memorized pretty much. Penitential rite, sign of the peace, dismissal. Those are our talking points.
And a lot of people don't realize that if a deacon is present, even if the Pope is the presider, the deacon proclaims the gospel every time.
And he does the dismissal too. Every
Yes.
time. So that would be cool to...
Oh, another one we say is when we get ready to read the gospel, we turn to the priest and say, "Bless me, Father."
It's two. You can say one of two things. Your blessing, Father, or Father, your blessing.
Yeah.
Something along those. We're getting a blessing. That's what's happening when we bend over. And what does he say? Because nobody hears that either.
What's he say?
He says something like, "May the Lord Jesus be in your heart to proclaim the word. I bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit."
And even if it's a bishop, you say Father. You don't say "Bless me, Bishop."
Yeah, this would be a good time to ask that my question.
Give a riddle.
So, there's a bishop, 2 priests, and 4 deacons in a room. How many people are in there?
How many people are in the room?
A bishop, 2 priests, and 4 deacons. How many people are in the room? We'll answer that on Facebook, if you will. Comments in the Facebook. Any other questions on there?
Don't have any.
So one of the other things I wanted to talk about tonight is just recently the first millennial was proclaimed blessed. I believe we put it on our Facebook page. Carlo, I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong, Acutis was a millennial. He had a leukemia, a form of leukemia that took his life at, how old was he, Dallas? Do you remember?
15 or 16.
Yeah, young, very young, but had a tremendous devotion to the Eucharist. His body was actually in a tomb in Assisi, St. Francis. He had a what's the word I'm looking for? Something. St. Francis of Assisi was kind of like his guy, and he modeled his spirituality after him. But he's the first millennial to be on the track to sainthood. He was a video game player. He was a computer programmer.
He was a lover of the Eucharist.
And all that happened him becoming in love with the Eucharist when his parents had quit going to church. So
I wonder if they go now.
I would think that they would. So you should look that up. New saint, or new person on the way to sainthood. Not a saint yet. He'll be blessed. There's 3 steps, right? Blessed,
Beatification.
blessed. What's the second one? Venerable, and then sainthood. So I got that right.
Well, beatified is
But there's 3 steps. There's 3 distinct steps. Miracle. You have to have 2 miracles to be a
2
saint.
miracles.
To be a saint. So he's on his way. I'm pretty. That's pretty cool. I just was reading about him this week, and I thought, it shows how you can lead a saintly life in today's culture. A lot of people think that might be difficult to do, and especially young people may find that challenging to do. But here's a young man who lived in our time, who lived the life like we live our lives, including video games, if you're a video gamer. You ever been a video gamer, Dallas?
Never. I never got into playing games. It just doesn't interest me.
I like video games. It's kind of my thing. I don't do it a lot like I used to. Used to do it a whole lot, but not anymore. So, hey, we still got time for a call. If you want to call in, 234-332-2667. That's 234-DEACONS. Love to have you tell us what's going on in your life, how the pandemic is affecting you. What do you think about the Cardome masses? What do you think about still being out at Cardome with snow on the ground? I know Steve's going to have to get heated lenses probably so that they don't frost up on him. Lots of things. We're going to have to make sure the water's not kept in an unheated place, right? So lots of things that we still have to do. What about a fishing report?
I went. When did I go? Can't remember. Wednesday. Caught several bass. You can't post that picture?
Was it on? Oh, you texted me, or was it on Facebook?
I thought I texted you. I think I'll just put it on Facebook.
Yeah, I can't shoot that over to Steve. We're not that sophisticated just yet. Sometime maybe we'll be able to do that, but not tonight. But you caught a fish. It was nice. Was that a crappie or was it a bass?
No, that was a bass. I caught several. We caught several bass.
You always go at Taylorsville, correct?
Yeah, because it's. I like fishing larger bodies of water, and it's probably the closest to drive. And
oh, I know what we were going to talk about. Steve, can you get a close up?
There's the fish.
Can you see the fish on the phone? Here, hand me the phone. Do you think you could see that fish? Probably not.
But the water temperature's dropping. I hope the fishing picks up a little bit.
Big fish, Dallas.
That's all right.
You got it. There you go.
And what else was you going to talk about?
We were going to talk about, get ready for his close up again, Steve. This is my official ballot for voting. And I want to do a public service announcement because I'd do an absentee ballot. If you're going in and you're voting yourself, on the back of this ballot, if you can see that, 2 constitutional amendments that look like epistles. This is all the wording. Do yourself a favor.
Read it before you go in.
Read it before you go in, because the guy behind you or the lady behind you is not going to be happy if you're in there reading 3 columns of very fine print that I can't even read right now because I don't have my glasses on. But one of them is the rewording of Marcy's Law, I think is what they call it.
Law.
And the other one has to do with
term limits, maybe?
Terms on Commonwealth attorneys and circuit court clerks, judges of the Supreme Court. So read that before you go in, and no matter what you do, make sure you vote, right? Kanye West is on the ballot in Kentucky.
If you contact me, I'll tell you how to vote.
You're not going to do it online.
No, I won't do it on air, but if you contact me, I'll tell you how to vote.
So there you go. Dallas will advise you on who to vote for. I was really shocked to see Kanye West on the ballot, to be honest with you. Did you know that?
Yeah, he's still on it. I've seen I think he's got some ads coming out this week.
Yeah. So you got you get to vote in my district. You get to vote for president, vice president, state senator, representative. Sorry, that was a United States senator, and a state senator, and a state representative. And it looks like we've got a Board of Education election with just one person in a write-in, which is interesting. And then City Council. City Council is always an odd one for me. You know all these people running for... You don't live in the city, though, do you?
No.
You live in the county.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to vote for 8. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 or 15 on the ballot, and you got to vote for 8. I guess we need to educate ourselves on these folks. A lot of them are the same names that I've seen for a long time here in the city. You know, so nonpartisan. So you're not voting for Democrat or Republican. So if you vote straight ticket, make sure you still vote for the nonpartisan races, which includes the Board of Education and the City Council, and probably is county nonpartisan.
Don't know.
I think we have a parishioner on the ballot. Did you know that? He's running unopposed, so I can probably say his name, Dwayne Ellison.
Oh.
So
For what? What's he running for?
magistrate,
Magistrate.
county magistrate. Yeah. So vote early, but don't vote often. Just vote once. I don't want to be accused of being like the president, telling people to vote more than once. But do your civic duty. Vote. The Catholic Church does have, the USCCB has put out a document to help form your conscience to vote according to the teachings of the church. That is available at usccb.org, usccb.org. Just be an informed voter, right? And,
Always.
And if you're confused, call Dallas.
And if you're confused,
call Dallas and he'll
you're
help you out.
undecided.
I'm sure we can open up, if it's not too cold, you can have your own line after Mass on Sunday for people to come see how to vote. So, no more questions?
No more.
No more comments?
We
Well,
have a saint of the day.
we got a saint of the day. We might as well just go do that then. Ready for that, Steve? So, saint of the day, Steve, when Steve brought in his artwork, I was like, man, I think you got the wrong one. And then, no, that's what I typed out too. Saint Margaret Mary. I'm going to be interested to see how they pronounce this. Alacoque, I think, is it. But here is Saint of the Day.
This is Franciscan Media's Saint of the Day for October 16th. Today we celebrate St. Margaret Mary Alacoque. After considering and rejecting marriage, Margaret Mary entered the Order of Visitation Nuns at 24. 2 days after Christmas in 1674, she received the first of several revelations in which Christ emphasized his love for humanity. In apparitions over the next 13 months, Jesus stressed that his human heart was to be the symbol of his divine human love. By her own love, Sister Margaret Mary was to make up for the coldness and ingratitude of the world. This would be accomplished by frequent reception of Holy Communion, especially on the first Friday of each month, and by an hour's vigil of prayer every Thursday night in memory of Jesus' agony in Gethsemane. The Lord also instructed her to institute a feast of reparation to his heart. Theologians who were called in declared that Margaret Mary's visions were delusions. But a new confessor, Jesuit Father Claude de la Colombière, recognized her genuineness and supported her. Margaret Mary Alacoque died in 1690 and was canonized in 1920. Begun privately in 1686, the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus was extended to the Universal Church 75 years later. There's more about the saints along with inspiration and Catholic resources at our website, saintoftheday.org. From Franciscan Media, this has been Saint of the Day.
Saint Margaret Mary. She was Orthodox.
You think every one of these people out here were Orthodox?
Well, except for the angels.
Yeah.
The archangels and Michael there. Was Jesus Orthodox? So, was Jesus a saint?
If you're in heaven, you're a saint. Yeah.
But it's a trick question, right?
Yes, and we should all strive to be saints.
All of us, definitely. So nobody's calling in, no questions. So we've done our job. It's been a kind of a choppy show for us with no topic.
Oh yeah, answer to the riddle.
Oh, here we go.
Question. No, they didn't put it. They want to know. Answer to the riddle.
A bishop, 2 priests, and 4 deacons. How many people are in the room? 4.
4.
Just 4. Can you explain it?
Yes. Once you're a deacon, you're always a deacon. And in order to become a priest or a bishop, somewhere down the line, you had to become a deacon.
And you're still a priest, too.
Yeah. You're a priest, but you're also a deacon. A bishop is a priest and a deacon.
So there you go.
And I think I said it, it's been a few weeks back when I said it on the air that all bishops are a priest and a deacon, all priests are deacons, but not all deacons are priests or bishops.
That's true, too. That's how it goes. So, hey, next week, just a reminder, come on out to Cardome. We're going to have a live show. There'll be some music, be some food. There'll be raffle tickets. There'll be a drawing. You could walk away with the grand prize, which is $10,000. Maybe we should buy a chance for the show because we could use $10,000. You know,
absolutely.
We could do a lot with this studio. So if you're listening and you win the $10,000 and you want to make a donation back, just earmark it for Deacons Discussions and Drinks because we could really upgrade the studio and make it sound so much better and look so much better. Right.
Yeah. And if you want to know how to vote, contact me. Or if you have money you want to give me, just contact me. And I'll make sure it gets to Tim, I promise.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So next Saturday, not next Friday, next Saturday, live at Cardome. And again, as another way just to show your support for not just the community or our parish, but all the things we do, ssfj.org, ssfj.org. You can also reach that through our website. You can go through the Facebook to get to that. It's the giving page, has all the collections throughout the year that you can give, weekly tithing you can set up. It's a good way in the COVID era not to have to bring an envelope and deposit it in a big garbage can outside Cardome. So, ssfj.org. Like and subscribe. That's what we want you to do. Listen to our podcast on all the podcasts. You ever listen to the podcast?
Yeah, go home and make sure you did everything right.
Okay. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon has podcasts now, iTunes has podcasts now. Everybody has our podcast. So whatever your choice of listening to podcasts, hey, just go back and listen to some of the old stuff we've done. Just remember, we've had some good guests on here. Lavinia Spirito. Gus Lloyd, yeah. Lots of people. Go check them out. Gus Lloyd, I still think, has our most views on the YouTube channel. So, yeah, if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe there. Hey, Dallas, can you give us a blessing?
I sure can. May the peace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you.
And with your spirit.
And may Almighty God bless everyone here in the studio and everyone out there listening. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Amen.
Hey, until next week, I'm Deacon Tim.
I'm Deacon Dallas.
He's Father Lynn in Texas. Good night, everybody.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't